Okay, thanks so much for watching this. Really appreciate it. But hey, I wanted to jump on here super fast and talk about something that I think a lot of people are overlooking and why the housing market slash the real estate market will soon likely be on absolute fire based on what the president just did in this big, beautiful bill, the legislation that was just signed into law on the 4th of July. As well as I want to talk about some other details here because I think this is going right over the head of a lot of people, and there's a lot of individuals that are not seeing what is so incredibly obvious about this. And in my opinion, contrary to what a lot of people are suggesting, I actually think we're going to see a very, very strong real estate and housing market going forward. And just want to share some of those thoughts with you here in this video super fast. Now, first off, you may recognize me from my other channel. Yes, I have another channel where I talk about other topics that are completely opposite of this. And the reason I'm talking about real estate here in this one, because honestly, I'm fascinated by all markets. I'm very much involved with stocks and crypto and real estate. I watch all of these markets very, very closely. And honestly, the people on my other channel don't care about this kind of stuff, but I still really enjoy it and I wanted to talk about it somewhere. So I'm going to talk about it here on this other channel. So I just want to throw it out there super fast so we can all be on the same page. But anyway, point being is that let me throw out a couple things because there's a couple different forces that are converging right now as we speak, some of which was encompassed in the big beautiful bill, and other things that will likely be coming here in just a matter of weeks, which are all going to converge, making the real estate and housing market very, very, very appealing. And once investors wake up to this, or basically just anybody out there that is shopping, this is going to basically be rocket fuel for the housing market. Is it all going to happen tomorrow? No. Is it all going to happen next week or next month? No. But is it going to happen here probably in the next, I don't know, year or so? For sure. Once people catch on to this, it's going to be like, oh, now I see. This is going to be incredibly important. So this is super obvious. This is not like some loophole. This is not some secret, nothing like that. Let me just break down what's going on here. Okay, let me point out a couple things here. And again, this is very obvious. This is not some like mystery, something like that. So I'm just going to point out a couple things. But I think a lot of people are really, really overlooking how incredibly powerful this is for the housing market. Now, I'm not sure about you, but not only do I make a lot of YouTube videos, I mean, I'm literally making multiple videos a day over on the other channel. I make a lot of content, okay? I do live streams all the time. In fact, I just got off of a live stream just moments ago on the other channel. But point being is that have you seen, not only do I make a lot of videos, but I also watch a lot of videos. I've been getting served a lot of videos here on YouTube lately. Oh, another 2008 in the housing market. The housing crash is starting. Look out below. Houses are going down. You'll be able to pick them up for pennies on the dollar. No, false. That's not going to happen. Not at all. In some select markets around the country, you may see some pullback, like some of those hot markets that were super hot earlier, 2020, 2021, some of those markets, for sure, you might see some of those cooling down a little bit, like Austin, Texas was a really big one, like Miami and different cities within the Florida region, things like that. Boise, Idaho was another really big one. Some of those markets, for sure, you're probably going to see those cool down a little bit, but for the most part, across the entire country, oh, by the way, like San Francisco has been a super hot market, which is also cooling down. But other than that, for the most part, you're still going to see very much a pretty stable market across the board. But here is a couple things that I want to point out to you super fast. Number one, in the big beautiful bill, the big reconciliation bill, or the stimulus package, whatever you want to call it, right? The president's agenda. One of the big things that he did in there was what? Do you even know what it is? Tell you. He reinstated the 100% bonus depreciation. You might be thinking, who cares? That's for businesses. Yeah. What is real estate if you're an investor? It's a business. Yeah, exactly, right? If it's operated correctly, unless you're some schmuck that doesn't operate it properly, right? There's a lot of those out there. But anyway, if you operate it properly, it is a business. Real estate is operated as a business, right? Point being is that the 100% bonus depreciation also applies to real estate, okay? But here's the cool thing about it. It's retroactive back to January 20th of this year. Retroactive, okay? What does this mean? Simply means anybody that performs a cost segregation study to actually have an engineer look through your home and get, by the way, this has to be on investment property, but they go out and they pull out the 5 year, the 7 year, and the 15 year property. You would be able to deduct that, which is generally between about 25-ish to 30% or so of the purchase price of the property, around there, of the value of that property, that could be deducted first year under bonus depreciation. That could be significant amounts of money. Once investors actually catch on to this and realize what just happened in this big beautiful bill, which honestly, I think only like a lot of the big sophisticated investors actually recognize the power behind this. Once most people recognize this, this is going to basically put a bottom in the real estate market, in the housing market, because prices are not going to come down that much once people really have this light bulb moment and realize how incredibly powerful this really is. There's going to be a backstop behind the housing market, because investors, anytime price dips 2, 3, 5%, guess who's going to be there picking up that slack and that inventory? Yeah, investors. Exactly, right? Or just anybody else out there that wants to pick up a house. Hey, got myself a little 3, 5% discount. Awesome, right? I talk about discounts all the time on the other channel. I love discounts on anything. I don't care what it is. You could be selling bubblegum wrappers and I'd want a discount, right? I love discounts. So anyway, that's number one. Now, that might seem like, oh yeah, we heard about that. That's pretty cool. Okay, if you've heard about it, just kind of stick that in your back pocket here, because that, in my opinion, is going to be a massive catalyst. Once the massives actually understand the power behind that, I think we're going to see some pretty solid markets across the country. Now, here's another one else that's coming up here relatively soon. As I film this, or I should say host this live stream right here, right now, today is, what is today? July 6th? July 6th, Sunday. Okay? The end of this month, the very end of this month, we have the next FOMC meeting. The anticipation now is that they're probably not going to cut interest rates based on the most recent job report that we got out on Thursday of this past week, on the 3rd, right? Just because it came in as a pretty strong number. However, the anticipation and the prediction markets are suggesting for sure, like a very, very high likelihood, about a 75% chance of a cut in September. Okay. So we have this major bonus that was just signed into law by the president through the reinstatement of 100% bonus depreciation, retroactive back to January 20th of this year. Plus, the Federal Reserve will likely come in, cut rates in September, probably again in October, probably again in, what's their next meeting? End of November, early December, whenever it happens to be. They're probably going to cut rates 2 to 3 more times this year, right? What's that going to do? Obviously, that very slowly, but eventually it does bring mortgage rates down a little bit as well, right? So when we see the convergence of not only these high rates that have been way too high for way too long, sitting anywhere between like 6.5-ish to 7%, give or take a little bit, and if you're getting financing on an investment property, you're probably sitting at like 7.25, 7.5, depending on where you're located in your situation. But like, that's a pretty high interest rate, right? I mean, relative to recent times here. So when we see the Federal Reserve coming in, cutting interest rates, at the same time that other investors are understanding that, hey, I heard about this bonus thing, what does all this mean? And all this starts to click here, this is going to put a hard backstop behind the market, not only with investors stepping up and picking up some of these homes and some of these properties, but then just home buyers that are coming in saying, hey, this is looking good, right? I'm wanting to take advantage of these lower interest rates, and they're also going to come back to offer that additional demand that is needed to pick up and absorb the supply that is hitting. Now, have you seen some of the reports out there recently? There's 500,000 more sellers in this current market than there are buyers. Okay, well, basic economics would tell us what? More supply than demand equals prices must go down, right? It's simply a supply and demand imbalance. When there's more supply versus demand, supply outstrips demand, prices must go down. And the opposite also applies, driving prices higher, like what we saw back in 2020, 2021, things like that. When there's an abundance of demand and limited supply, or inventory, as it's called in the real estate market, prices must rise. And that's literally what we saw. So much demand during that time because interest rates were so incredibly low, like practically free, right? Interest rates on mortgages were like sub 3% for a little while there. Could you imagine picking up a mortgage at like the two and three quarter or whatever it happens to be, right? How amazing, or even 3%. That's practically free. I mean, that is like very, very, very cheap money. That's incredible, right? So anyway, these are a couple different influences that are converging now. The lowering of interest rates that are likely coming very soon, which, by the way, they were just talking this morning about some people that may replace Jerome Powell, right? Trump, every chance that Trump gets, he's ripping on Jerome Powell. I wonder if Jerome at some point is just going to be like, you know what, forget it, F this, I'm out of here. I don't want to deal with all this like negativity and people dissing me left and right. He might just say, forget this, right? I don't need my, what does he make? Like 230 grand or something like that? I think his salary is like 230,000 or something like that. He might be like, forget this. I don't really care about the 230. I just want to get out of here. I'm sick of being treated like crap, right? So he might just hang it up and just get out of there. Or he sticks around till the end of his term, which is about mid-ish next year, and then he'd be replaced, right? So we have definitely a bunch of different things that are hitting right now. I find this to be super fascinating to watch this. I love watching these markets. Like, I'm just very fascinated by this. I'm watching the markets all day, every single day. I mean, I'm looking through everything all the time. I'm constantly looking at real estate. I just find it to be super fascinating to see what's happening in these markets. And obviously, real estate is a very slow-moving market. And we've been seeing all these different people coming out suggesting this massive crash, this massive 2008 coming again. Here it comes. Get ready, everybody. You're going to be able to pick up houses for, pennies. That's, in my opinion, I don't think that's going to happen at all. We would need to see a major, major, major influx of foreclosures in order for that to happen. That's not going to happen. Why? There's an affordability situation, but the problem is, it's not an affordability situation like, got myself locked in a 7% mortgage and can't afford it. Now I'm going to foreclose. The affordability crisis, the affordability situation is that prices are high at like record highs right now. Mortgage interest rates are so incredibly high. The affordability situation is people can't get in. It's not a matter of being in and can't affording it. That's not the problem right now. It's people getting in. People can't even get in to the market because they can't afford to get into the market. But people that are already in the market as in owning real estate, most of them are pretty good, right? Because they're locked in at like 3%, 3.5%, 2.75%, 3.75%, whatever it is, right? Very, very low rates. So it's not really a matter of like, hey, I can't really cover my mortgage anymore. That's not the situation that many people are dealing with. It's just the ability to pick up that house, right? So anyway, just want to throw this out there super fast. Let's see what happens here. I will certainly keep you posted as we move forward. But I don't know. Just wanted to jump on a quick live stream. We're just reading a bunch of stuff about this. I'm reading content every single day and find this to be very, very fascinating. So I'll certainly keep you posted. If you're new here, hey, make sure to subscribe. Otherwise, check out, if you want, I talk about information totally opposite of this. I talk about Social Security, low income, fixed income, food stamps, SSDI, SSI, basically all those types of programs over on my other main channel. But I'm also very fascinated by like stocks, crypto, real estate, all of these markets and stuff like this, money, finance, things like that. And honestly, many of the people on my other main channel honestly just don't really care about this stuff all that much, and I totally respect that. That's totally fine. So I thought, you know what, rather than sharing my passions, my interest with them that don't really care, why don't you just come over here and share it on this channel? And I don't know, just because I don't want to talk about it. All right, anyway, I'll keep you posted. Hope this helps you and provides some value to some degree. But let me know what I can do for you. Leave me a comment down below. Otherwise, subscribe or check out the other main channel. Blind to Billionaire is the name of it. No, I'm not a billionaire. I wish I were. But it's okay to dream, right? Oh, I am blind. That's the part. The blind part is accurate. Not a billionaire, right? I wish it were the reverse. I wish I was a sighted billionaire and not a blind wannabe. Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, exactly. That'd be really awesome, right? Unfortunately, it's the other way around. I'm a blind guy that wants to be a billionaire. I don't know. Maybe someday, right? All right, anyway, please enjoy your day. Please subscribe. Check out the main channel. Otherwise, have a good one, and maybe I'll catch you again later in the next video. All right, we'll see you later. I'm going to hit this, so my phone's going to talk for a minute. Uh-oh, what happened? Okay, hang on. It was asking me about a moderator or something.